Hello guys, welcome to Banter Blitz, this time on Saturday. I hope you're having a nice time during this weekend. Just as usual, let's play several games, discussing everything what is happening on the board, and also analyzing a bit right after each and every game is finished. So, let's have a look. We don't have so many challenges right now, so I will probably just play one by one, or let's just stick to normal system, to usual one. I will try to find someone I've never ever played before. It's not so hard, by the way, except the game. We'll play 3 games against people I've never played before, and then we'll get back to playing one by one. All right. So the very first one, I'm playing with white pieces. Just as usual, let me know in chat if you can hear and see me well, and we will just gradually start our show. So, Karakan, everything is fine, says Elbing. Very nice, thanks a lot, my friend. And knight f6 and bishop g4 without playing knight to c6. I think there is no big difference, and most likely we'll get the same stuff. Because normally black plays something like knight c6, bishop f4, and then bishop g4. But b6 is somewhat strange, it weakens a lot. Can we immediately use it somehow? So bishop b5 check comes to mind, but then bishop comes back to d7 most likely. No, I don't see any advantage in playing something like that, so I'll just keep on developing pieces just as usual. Bishop goes to f4 here, then knight goes to d2, knight goes to f3, and yeah, just normal Carlsbad reversed. All right, so knight d7. That is strange indeed, because look at this knight on d7. It's totally passive. b6 is now possible to occupy. c5 and e5 are controlled. It's definitely a bad move. What can we do now? Well, I think there is something like bishop a6 possible with the idea of bishop b7. I don't see a good defense, to be honest. Should I play it immediately or start with the h3? Let's play h3, just a tempo move. Creating this h2 square for the bishop, just in case it is attacked by the knight. Now I guess we can play something like bishop a6 if we want. This indeed looks pretty challenging for black. But there is something like, bishop a6, with the idea of bishop b7 trapping the rook, e5 is interesting, then d takes e5, queen to e7, something like that. So I'm not sure that bishop a6 is great here. I'll just play knight e2, preparing knight to f3. So the idea is, if I play bishop a6 next move, and black plays e5, I capture an e5, and if queen e7, I have simple knight to f3 protecting the pawn. Then if bishop takes, I take with the knight, and I'm just a pawn up and no compensation. So right now, bishop a6 is a serious threat. All right, a5 prevents that, but this weakens b5 a lot, and b6 as well. What should we do? You can probably just ignore it, or play something like a4. Stopping the pawn from going to a4, grabbing some additional space, fixing the weakness on b6. Yeah, this position looks bad for black, to be honest, compared to normal things that happen here in this system. So too many weaknesses in my opinion. Probably I could have played it a bit differently. So instead of knight d2, something like knight a3 with the idea of knight to b5 could have been also very annoying for black. Now black decided to give up a bishop, again for nothing in my opinion. So now I have just pair of bishops, which is very good. So strategically this is already quite bad for black, I think. White is simply having a clear advantage. Because normally, white is playing in the center and on the king side. Black is usually counter-attacking on the queen side with the help of minority attack, so b5, a5, b4. As you can see, there is no such a thing anymore, because pawns are fixed, so I control everything. It's just a bad position. So now what? Knight to e5 comes to mind. There is also something like bishop b1, preparing queen to c2, creating further threats on the king side. Well, let's keep it simple and just play this way. Yeah, I know that, and I can jump to e4 whenever my queen is on c2. But then this knight can be attacked with the f3. Probably we will start with something like knight to e5. On the other hand, in such a position, when the knight is on d7 and it's so passive piece, I don't really want to exchange it. So I don't know, should I do that at all? But again, on the other hand, how to continue with the attack? That's a good question. Okay, I don't want to define the things right now, so I'll just play rook e3, preparing another rook to e1, and also after something like knight somewhere, not necessarily to e5, rook may go to g3. Exerting pressure on g7. There are some ideas based on bishop h6 sacrifice whenever I have this check on g3. So we'll see. Now I think black is running into troubles because it's not clear what's the next move. So what is the useful move here? So bishop goes to g5. Let's just grab it. I mean, why not? And now f4 or just queen to c2. Yeah, I think we'll start with this move. Just creating a direct threat of a checkmate on h7 first, because any pawn move will be just an additional weakening of the position. So if we want to play f4 at some point, continue with the attack, probably it makes sense to start with bishop d6. But right now, I think the queen is almost trapped. Let's have a look. If we play f4, queen can go to h4. Then only one move, like g3 maybe. But then queen captures on h3. All right. What can we do instead? We can play f4, queen h4, and then g4, attacking that knight, trapping it, forcing... Well, there is no knight g4 after that. Yeah, let's do it. Just f4 and g4. And the knight on h5 is trapped, because if knight takes g4, there is again this checkmate. Right? Right. And h3 is protected by the rook from e3. And even if this knight, well, has moves, for example, g6 is played and knight can go to g7, there is something really bad happening for black anyway, because bishop g3 is coming, so probably just two moves like king g2 and bishop g3, and the queen is trapped. So it's just a catastrophe for black, I think. Just a catastrophe. Abdu joined the show. So, what's going on here? Rook takes e6. Do we need that? No, we don't. So just something simple like bringing queen here. So extra minor piece. Bishop d3, bishop e2 maneuver comes to mind. Maybe something simple like queen g4. We're not against some simplification because we simply have extra material, so why not? Yeah, it should be over. What about f5 now? Should work somehow. gf5, queen h5, it's over. E takes f5, just rook takes e7. And, okay, we can grab the knight as well. Yeah, no, it's completely lost. So, black misplayed it right from the start. This b6 is bad. So instead of playing b6, black should have tried queen to c8, just like in a line with knight to c6. I'm not sure that this order of moves changes anything. So I still don't see anything better than something like, I don't know, bishop to f4. Then knight goes to c6, and we enter one of the major directions here. So white will just play knight f3. Black usually plays something like that. And castling, then bishop goes to h5 and g6. And as you can see, black's pieces are placed normally here. Yeah, queen on c8 is a bit passive, but it's just a question of two moves like queen d7 and rook to c8. Everything is coordinated. And black still has a chance to organize the minority attack here. That's important. So something like b6 is already a weakening. And as I said during the game, after this knight to d7, which is completely wrong, I think knight c6 was still better than knight e7. I could have played something like, all right, h3 is fine, but after bishop h5, I could have played knight to a3, not to d2, with the idea of knight b5 and knight to c7. In which case, though, black can pair it with the a6, so probably knight to d2 was anyway better compared to knight to a3. And why I didn't play bishop to a6, although I wanted, because it's a typical pattern here. Rook has no space at all. Both bishops control all the squares. And there is this threat of bishop b7, and queen is also restricted here. So c7, c8, b8 are controlled. Queen cannot go somewhere to control b7 because of that knight on d7, which is quite bad. But in this case, I thought black would have this trick. So e5, and if I take with the pawn, then something like queen to e7. So the rook now has b8 and d8 squares, and there is knight to e5 threats. So I wasn't sure if it is a clear thing, but what I missed, I could have probably just captured with the bishop instead of taking with the pawn. Right, so bishop e5, intending to support this bishop with f4 if necessary. Yeah, this looked also quite good, I think. But even the way I played it, I think it was absolutely enough. So black created so many weaknesses and actually deprived him or herself of the counterplay on the queen side, which made my position absolutely overwhelming. All right, great, thank you very much. Let's have a look at other challenges. Do we have somebody I've never played before? Yeah, here we go, accept. This time 2351 is the rating, so gonna be challenging, especially if I play with black pieces, and I do play with black pieces. So let's see. Here we go. So should we experiment a bit? Because, you know, Blitz is just a great sandbox for trying some, you know, unusual things. But to be able to do that, of course, I should start the game, and since I'm playing with black pieces, I should wait for my opponent to do that. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sorry, but it's taking too long. Let's have a look. Do we have somebody else I've never played before? Not a single game, I mean. Okay, so just declining challenges from non-premiums. The rule is I'm playing only against premiums. So here is another guy I've never played before. 3 minutes though, but okay. I think it's manageable. And white pieces. Okay. Let's go. E4. Only 1300s. But you never know what is lying behind this rating. For now, everything is just according to theory. It's quite good. Alright. So Sicilian. And now it's a bit strange. Bishop c5. Never seen this before. Let's just play e5. Never ever seen this before. So usually black tries to place like bishop e7 and d5. Bishop on c5 is quite vulnerable because of this move. So I think my position is already quite good. Aha, this famous trick. So if I take the bishop, there is queen a5 check. It's not necessarily that dangerous for white. But nevertheless, I would prefer to... Or maybe we should just grab that bishop. I don't know. No, I mean, let's make a useful move like bishop to d2 anyway, a developing thing. Bishop is hanging. We control b4 additionally, and yeah, we can play c4 now. It's just strategically lost for black already. So what is the right approach now? Just to put my knight on d6 or to play c5? If we play c5, we lose the control over d5 square. But the bishop will be terrible there on a7. But anyway, black will have some tricks, I think. So should we just put the knight on d6 or maybe just castle long? I don't know. Bishop b4 is another interesting idea. Forcing c5, which damages that bishop. No, you know, I'll just keep it simple and I'll play c5 here. Anyway, yeah, I know I'm losing the control over d5, so then I can go back to d5 square. But that bishop on a7 will be bad, and the bishop on c8 is just terrible. So now there is no chance to improve it. Also, let's have a look at something like knight to f6. Is it possible to play it like that? Knight f6, check, g takes f6, e takes f6. No, probably it's too early for experimenting of that sorts. Now let's just protect pawn on c5. It's too important. Whenever black plays something like f5, I'll just put the knight on d6, I think. Or maybe I'll grab on f6 first and then knight to d6. It doesn't really matter. In both cases, having kind of winning position, all right? So the idea now is just to bring my pieces to the king side gradually and win the game, right? Let's play b4, grabbing even more space, controlling everything literally. So black has no play here. We just should be careful, not missing some stupid tactics, and it's gonna work out well. Knight to d4, okay. Knight will jump to b3. Missed that for no reason. Okay, so let's bring the queen to h5. Direct threat of a checkmate in 2. Knight f6 check and then queen h7. g6 is not possible because of knight f6 check and queen to h7. And that is how the game is finished. All right. That was very simple win because black created so many weaknesses. My task was just to exploit them. That's it. All right. Yeah, bishop c5 is not a great idea, I think. So instead of playing that move, black, I guess, should try d5 here. And now if I play e5, just to show you the difference, and black plays knight to d7, for instance, I don't have this e4 square for my knight, and it's a different story, all right? So that was the problem for black in this game, just giving me a chance to play something like that. I mean, this is still playable, of course, but probably bishop to e7 should have been played, or maybe bishop a7 immediately, but I prefer this move because knight still has this square. But even here, you know, I can try something like this, and if knight b4, then I can just step back, and then a3 will be a threat. Black is having just very bad times anyway. No space, lots of weaknesses, passive pieces and stuff. All right, one more game. One more game against somebody I've never played before. Let's have a look at early challenges. So Eric Press, accept. Black pieces. Okay. 1500s looks like a standard starting rating, so I have no idea how strong my opponent is. So let's try to be careful here. For now, just Ruy Lopez. Nothing surprising. Main lines apparently. Or maybe something modern like d3. We'll see. Okay, Pawn e4 is protected, which means pawn on e5 is hanging because of bishop c6 and knight e5. So let's get rid of that threat and just keep on developing pieces the normal way. Now I have protected e5 pawn with my pawn, which means my knight is free to move. And knight a5 was already a positional threat to grab the Spanish bishop. So c3 was just right in time. Okay, so we are entering main directions. This is a Smyslov variation. The idea behind h6 is to control g5 squares so that knight cannot go there, which means rook can simply go to e8 next move. Then bishop from e7 goes to f8. This regrouping allows black to be prepared for, pressure on e5 because white is going to play d4 and e5 will be under constant pressure. So this additional protection will be very helpful for black. And once the bishop is on f8 and e5 is protected, the knight is again free to move somewhere, and normally this knight jumps to a5, and then black plays something like c5, undermining the center. So everything is according to classics. Overprotection of the e5 and then counterattack of the center at the right moment. From f8, this bishop can later go to g7 once black plays g6. So this bishop can be developed either to d7 or to b7. There are two different directions. I used to play bishop b7 when I was younger, which may lead to Zaitsev's system with, some transposition, but nowadays I prefer playing bishop to d7. So c4, well. It weakens a lot of dark squares. Kind of strange, but playable. Now I would like to take, because I think I will be able to exploit the weakness of c5 square now. But to do that, I need a further regrouping, I think. So first, let's attack this e4 pawn. By the way, another idea behind rook e8. Whenever the e file is open, this e4 becomes a target, which we can attack. Bishop f8 protects g7, which means if our knight goes away, then there is no danger for my king. f4 looks a bit strange. So can I consider something like bishop takes e4 or knight takes e4? Can I win something because of that? Probably no. But there is also a7 g1 diagonal, which is weak. b3 may be played now, deflecting the bishop. I think this is a good inclusion. Just to separate c4 from b2 so that c4 is kind of vulnerable. And a4 as well, by the way. And the bishop takes on b3, then we exchange our pawn on the side for the pawn in the center, which I think is a good exchange for black. And now I guess we can do something like this. Knight d7 with the simple idea of knight to c5, exerting additional pressure on the bishop on d3 and pawn on a4. Knight to g3, alright. So knight to c5 seems to be very tempting. d5 is also an interesting idea, but after something like king h2 or king h1, I don't see what I'm achieving. So let's just put the knight on c5. Consistency is key. a4 probably just drops now, because I don't see how white is going to protect it. There are also some other threats. Possibly something like queen h4, attacking the knight. And since the rook is not protected, it's going to be annoying. Well, should be annoying at least. For instance, right now, queen h4 doesn't make sense. Yeah, it does. If knight moves, I just grab the rook. And queen f2 doesn't work because I take the bishop on d3. And another idea that I have created is just to take on e5 now, right? D takes e5 immediately was also pretty good. I don't know why didn't I play that, honestly. That's probably the easiest. Just d captures e5, and if queen d8, rook d8 wins the game. At least the pawn, okay. Alright, so what about d takes e5 now? Let's grab this pawn. Knight on c5 is protected by my bishop, so no problems at all. It feels like we're just opening the position, and we have a much better development than white. So white started active operations in the center, not being developed enough for it. So it should be punished somehow. We can come back to d8, I think, after this move. Attacking the bishop at the same time. Should be very careful about something like knight h6, gh6, but I don't see a dark threat to my h7 square, so I guess we're fine. And the threat now is just to take on f4 probably. Maybe we have something better like g6 here. Also looks very good. Yeah, let's play that move. h6 is protected. We're just attacking the knight. Oh, this is just a terrible blunder. The knight was protected, come on. The bishop on f8 is passive, but it's a great defender, right? So now it's absolutely lost for white. Okay. So basically what happened in this game, white was punished for underdevelopment. Not really for underdevelopment, but for starting active operations, not being completely developed, right? All right. Let's go ahead. There is nothing to command basically, so instead of playing c4 and a4 and stuff, well, a4 is okay, it's fine, but after b4 you should have considered something like playing d5 first, if you wanted to play c4, and then c4. That's another direction, and probably a better version for you, because in this case, as you can see, I'm just starting playing on these dark squares, especially c5. And yeah, in case you play d5, after this and this, of course, dark squares are still a bit weakened in white's camp, but I don't have a direct access to c5 square. That's the thing. So the question, oops, you can probably hear on the background now my son is crying, so there was something probably very, very offending or something, I don't know, have no idea. So probably it will be yeah, somehow solved in the nearest future. Getting back to the question, were you learning from Russian schools? It feels like you were. Well, no, not Russian, Ukrainian, but probably it's better to say something post-Soviet, okay? Yeah, I'm originally from Ukraine. Okay, so let's have a look. We have many challenges right now, so let's just go one by one. Mike Goring is the next one. Accept. And white pieces. Okay, let's go. So I cannot call it music. My son is crying. What's going on there? I have no idea. The question, are you familiar with Igor Smirnov? Well, I know who this guy is. And yeah, we've seen each other several times, I think. So, Ruy Lopez Exchange, I don't know why I decided to play that, because recently I've been playing just main lines, but okay. Sometimes it's a good idea to get back to Ruy Lopez Exchange, because it's super simple to play in Blitz. Especially if you've played like hundreds of games. Kravnik student is joking about the fact that I'm more familiar with Smirnov. Well, to be honest, never ever tried it. So let's just keep on developing pieces here. By the way, Fischer never played this 92, I think. He played only knight to b3 after c5. It's a bit modernized stuff. So the point is just to exchange this bishop. That is very simple. So for this damaged pawn structure, black has a compensation in the form of pair of bishops. And if you exchange one of them, you kind of reduce this compensation and hence increase your positional advantage. Now what? I usually like to put my knight on h5 in such a situation. But right now it's impossible. Well, probably it is possible. No, it's not. So if we play knight h5, then bishop g4, rook d8, and if knight takes g7, there's rook g8. Almost trapping my knight. Okay, I'll just play f3 first. Supporting my e4 pawn, preparing the centralization of the king, the normal king, f2, e3 and stuff. And now I want to play this move. So if black plays g6 or g5, I grab the pawn, which means black should do something to protect it now. Maybe rook g8, which is pathetic. I mean, it's not losing the game, obviously, but it's always a great thing when you force your opponent to protect pawns with rooks. I don't know, just my feelings. And now I guess we can gradually occupy the d file. There is the rook f to b1 line, not in this line, not in this direction, Kramnik student. It's in bishop g4 and after bishop f3, queen f3, g f3, then rook b1, b4, this sort of minority attack. There is this plan, but not here. What? I can take on g7 now if I want. Then rook goes to d2. But is it really that bad for white? Yeah, the rook will be very active, so we have to evaluate that correctly. But we'll have some like knight b1 getting rid of it. So I think we can just grab the pawn. So rook to c1. Protecting c2. Have an extra pawn now. The only potential threat is to g2, but if knight goes to g6, we can play knight f5, knight f4, knight e3, and the pawn on g2 is protected. It's okay. Another option is just to get rid of that rook before knight gets to f4 or h4, something like knight to b1 that I mentioned previously. May be interesting, especially after black plays c4, which means it's no longer possible to react with rook e2 against knight to b1. I think we can do it. Just for several moves moving the knight to a bad position, but then restoring the equilibrium quickly. So king f2, then probably king e3. d2 will be controlled, and we can then relocate the knight. But first, we have to care about our g2 pawn. So if king e3, then rook g8, where's a 9. So let's just bring the knight to a better position. g2 is under control now. And then just king e3 and knight to d2, right? Yeah, so the knight will get back to play very soon, which means we're just converting the extra pawn now. With such a pawn structure, as you may notice, yeah, let's go to c3. It feels like black has not 4 but 3 pawns here on the queen side, and we have kind of 4 against 2, which is absolutely winning, of course. So it's not just an extra pawn in such a situation, it feels like 2 extra pawns. Because those pawns are doubled, and that's the main drawback of such a pawn structure. So you cannot basically create a passer. It's really annoying. Really annoying stuff. And what to do now? Knight f4 or knight d4? Knight d4, I guess. Yeah, so black resigned, but yeah, indeed, position is lost. Well, it still requires some, accuracy here, but I think it's not that hard to convert this advantage. There is nothing direct, I think, but even something simple like, grabbing that bishop and playing rook to d1 should do it, okay? So, let's continue. But first, what went wrong? Black just lost a pawn, right? So after rook captures on d8, let's have a look. Where was it? So rook takes d8, king takes d8 should have been played. And it's far away from clarity. So rook d1, king somewhere here. At some point, just bishop to e8, getting rid of my knight. Maybe putting the bishop on f7 to control e6 square at the same time and exerting some pressure at a2. Then bringing the rook to the game. So black had just a solid position, maybe a bit passive, but solid. All right, so Jan 606. Let's accept this challenge. Playing with black pieces. Okay, so it's time for experimenting, right? Let's experiment a bit. Never play this in tournament games, but it's a Blitz game, so who cares? Right. So, it's like a classic Benoni or something, I don't remember. I don't know actually how this sort of pawn structure is called correctly. So, let's just try to find some useful stuff for our dark square bishop. Let's try to undermine the things with the b5 move, maybe entering some sorts of Volga or Benko. These are two typical names for this b5 stuff. What? Now I can grab e4, right? Simple as that. b3 just weakening a lot. Like everything, actually. Simple tactics. Bishop h6, bishop back to g7. And we have extra exchange. White will have some compensation, of course, because my king is weakened, but yeah. After this, by the way, I don't see compensation at all. So the only chance was to try to exchange my dark square bishop, which is a main defender of my king. Now my king is completely safe, so we have extra exchange and extra pawn at the same time. So I should be winning. b4. Okay, let's just exchange everything here, making position slightly more open because we have rooks. So that's basically what we need. Rooks need open files. We're just trying to create as many as possible. All right. Bishop c3 again was probably a chance to fight a bit. Now there is no chance at all. So the question, why is he playing with 1700 rated players? This is one-sided. Well, I'm playing one by one, so I'm not picking challenges. So Just taking one by one. So I don't look at rating at all. If there will be like 3,000, there will be 3,000. All right, I'm fine with that. And by the way, it's time to get back to 3,000 because it's kind of pathetic to have 2,800s. I used to have 3,100s at some point. Yeah, but I've been playing a lot, actually. Nowadays, I'm just not playing at all. We can call it this way. All right, let's bring the rook to b2, supported by the bishop. Looks quite active there. What to do now? Or something like that. For example, knight to c5. Some slight simplification. And this is good. We have extra material. All right, d5 is now hanging. Maybe we can undermine it with the e6 if white plays something like bishop to c6. Not sure. Can be a valid option since now rook attacks the bishop. Okay, white decide not to protect it at all, so let's just grab it. Aha, that was the idea. Okay. Maybe not so bad, actually. So what's our plan now? I guess we can simplify position even more, like this. Maybe it's not a simplification, even if queen takes c4, then there is something like rook to b1 check, which may be very, very annoying for white. If bishop takes c4, I just grab the bishop on a5. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Now extra rook and extra exchange. Yeah, too many blunders, my friend. Too many blunders. Starting from this classic one. So whenever there is a bishop on g7, well, whenever you want to play something like b3, just think twice. Because there may be just tactics like this. Very simple one. Knight e4, and you're already in a bad situation. So as I said before, during the game, that was the only chance. So bishop h6 attacking my rook on f8, and the bishop on a1 simultaneously, which forces me to play this move, and you can grab it. And at least my king is a bit weakened, so you have some practical chances here for counterplay. So you can occupy that diagonal with your queen, and yeah, just play something like h4, h5, trying to make my king even more exposed, and then just try to attack it. Otherwise, you have no compensation for missing material. All right, the next one is Kevin. And by the way, 2,800s. 2,800s. 3-minute game. This is gonna be harsh. All right, let's go. Let's see. Yeah, the game was started. Let's focus. Catalan, right? Right. Catalan. One of the most interesting lines here. So we're playing a 3-minute game, so I won't be explaining like each and every move here. CD5. Okay, yeah, so I'm not so good. Not so good for black, although at the very first glance it's just fine. But according to my experience, it's a bit passive thing anyway. Yeah, so this position is not very pleasant indeed. Okay, what to do here? What is our plan? It's really hard to do anything because white controls literally everything. B5 followed by B4 can be a plan here. I don't see anything else, to be honest. Let's try it. Yeah, no, everything is closed. Everything is closed there. C file is really hard to... It's really hard to achieve anything in the C file. But maybe we'll try to do, you know, something like rook c7, rook to c8, and maybe rook to c3 at some point. Just at the right moment. Maybe this is the right moment. I don't know. No, I don't see anything there. Just don't see anything there. Crazy. Very annoying position. Very annoying position. I don't know what to do. So let's just try some prophylaxis here. Maybe we need this knight on b8, which is doing nothing on f8 instead. So that at least h7 square is protected. And e6 potentially if I decide to play something like f5 or f6. Well, at least let's try it. It's also not so clear for white how to continue with the attack because I have some pressure against b3. And queen is kind of tied a bit with the defense. All right, white is maneuvering. No, don't see anything in this position, honestly. Well, let's just wait a bit. Let's see what white is going to do here. So white has weakened his position a bit, but just a bit, right? Nah, it's harsh. It's harsh. Bad idea, I know, but I really don't know what to do here. It's just a nightmare for a Blitz game. Position like this. Okay, let's try some active counterplay. So white has weakened the position after all, right? So let's sacrifice the exchange. b3 will be under attack. The rook will have some lifts, but I have a feeling that it's just not enough anyway for anything significant. So b3 is hanging. That's the only advantage of this sacrifice for now. What to do next? Let's try to exert some pressure on d4 pawn. Okay. Don't see anything, sorry. Oh, rook e8. Rook e8 was winning the game. Rook e8 was winning the game. Crazy position. Okay, that's the extra queen. But no time at all. Come on. 7 seconds only. What happened? I lost in time. All right. So basically, I managed to outplay my opponent, but I was too slow here at the end. Maybe I missed a checkmate or something. But white could have punished me immediately after I played knight to f4. Knight to f4 was just a complete bullshit. Rook e8 wins on the spot. I missed that bishop. Oh no, it doesn't. So probably knight to f4 first, right? Yeah, knight to f4 first. And then after queen takes f4, so now g6 is not controlled. Rook e8 wins because of this bishop g6. Very nice checkmate, right? Yeah, come on. That was an interesting game. So I was just literally waiting for white to weaken the position. And then I got some cool counterplay here. Yeah. I think already here black is doing well, but maybe I'm overestimating my chances. Or probably I missed something exactly here. I don't know. No, I didn't miss anything. So I guess it's just a position like this. So maybe queen b6 was the correct move. So probably with some ideas like knight to d4 a bit later, but not now. But I think something like bishop f5 is really annoying, because if knight goes away somewhere, there's rook e8 followed by bishop g6. Ah! God damn it. Anyways, very nice experience. Thanks for that. Yeah. It's really pathetic at the end. Okay. Already told you are slow in online games. Last 60 seconds is very important. Oh, my friend. I'm fine in online games. I'm slow in banter because I'm talking, all right? I'm trying to explain things simultaneously with playing. When I play without speaking, I'm okay. So my speed is just all right. Russian defense. Russian game, sorry. Petrov defense, it is called. Okay, absolutely valid choice. What? This is something new to me for sure. Most likely it will be just like normal. D takes c5. So usually get this position after knight e4, bishop d3, d5, d5, and then knight goes to c5. But am I really forced now to play bishop d3? Probably I'm not. Probably I can do something more useful like this. Just covering this diagonal a7, f2 so that there is no bishop to c5. Okay, now what? So black's best piece at the moment is this knight on e4. I should do something with this. Maybe knight d2. I blunder in something, or it's okay. It's fine, I think. So compared to the main line here, within d4 variation, bishop is still on f1, which is, I think, is quite good for white, because maybe we will jump to b5 at some point. Who knows? This can be also an interesting choice. Okay, now. What about taking on e4, and then taking on d8, then playing knight g5? Too many moves helping black with the development, so it shouldn't be good. There will be knight b4 at the end. Okay. So maybe bishop d3 now, or bishop e2. I know, let's just play bishop e2. Slightly passive, but completely fine, I think. Castling. Now it will be good at some point to grab this e4 knight, but probably not now, because in that case, after d takes e4, e5 will be hanging. Maybe we should do something like bishop f4, or I don't know, to protect pawn e5 simultaneously, and then just grab e4 knight and try to attack the c4 pawn. I don't know. Position looks a bit boring to me right now. And to be honest, I feel like I did achieve anything. So it's just completely fine for black. Really. Black's pieces are just okay. Yeah, okay. Let's play an equal position then. So now maybe knight takes c4. Again, I don't see what I'm achieving with this. Or maybe something like that. Maybe intending to damage the pawn structure. Normally I don't believe in the power of this plan. But let's imagine something like bishop c6 takes. If my bishop is already on h2, there could have been some like knight d4 followed by f3, f4, f5. But my bishop is still on f4, so it will be too slow. Yeah, hard to say what to do. Let's just get back to d3. Which is definitely not what I want from this position, but I don't see anything better right now. We're just fighting against this central knight. The only sensible target. Okay, I thought of something like knight to c5, to be honest, but this is also okay. This is also fine for black. e5 may be in trouble in the nearest future. For now, though, everything is under control. Yeah, so let's just play queen e2. Don't think it's a good idea. Now we grab e4. And everything my opponent has is just a pawn on e5, which is a very bad thing. I should have captured with the bishop. My bad. But even this way is quite okay, because our pawn structure will be much better. So strategically, it's a very good position for white, I think. Close to winning. Because f takes c5 is needed. If bishop e4, then queen e4 and b7 drops, I think. But even if it doesn't, this e5 is an isolated pawn. Black will have super passive bishop. So it's going to be very good and simple play for white. White has no weaknesses whatsoever in this position. All right, now we can grab that pawn, right? Extra material, c7 is under attack. If rook b8, then queen d5 check. And we can protect b2 after that. So extra pawn in addition to better pawn structure. I love my position. Easy, isn't it? So f6 was a mistake. I will show you the better way for black to play right after the game. Okay, check. Just b3. Pawns on the light squares, so they're not accessible for opponent's bishop. Now let's just put the queen on e4. Good blockading piece in such a case, because there are no knights on the board anymore. So there is no light squared bishop, right? So my queen is untouchable here on e4. Okay. Oh, what am I doing? Such a stupid blunder. My goodness. What an idiot. Crazy. I wanted to play bishop g3 first and then rook to e1, and then for some reason just change the move order. Oh god. I started doing super stupid things. It's a very bad sign. Crazy. Why am I doing this? So the plan was to start with bishop g3 and then, only then, rook to e1, which was absolutely logical. Crazy idiot. Okay. Let's focus now, really. We're still better, but it's no longer that great as it was before. So can I take on e5 even? Rook to f2. Rook to g3 in that case. Bishop e5, rook e5. Yeah, it's fine, I suppose. No, it's not. There is rook e8, rook e3. Now I start feeling like I'm blundering something on each and every move. crazy. It was absolutely winning position. I spoiled everything like a complete patzer. Okay, we're still fighting for a win, of course, but could have been much better than this. Oh, shit. Yeah, just such a patzer. Yeah, very nice tactics, by the way. Yeah, kudos to my opponent. Oh, dear Lord. So stupid. Yeah, of course I accept a draw, come on. Yeah, that was a very strange draw offer. It's absolutely winning position for black now. Oh, crazy, crazy, dear Lord. Like, absolutely, technically winning position. What the fuck? Rook e1, come on, just play bishop g3 first. No counterplay whatsoever. And then rook to e1. Come on. All right. Yeah, there's a nice comment. I call those moments, just a sec, I call those moments brain farts. And they just happen, nothing you can do about them. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, thanks for the game. So, as I promised, instead of playing rook e8, I think, you could have played immediate knight to c5. That was nice. Just attacking my bishop with your bishop and your knight, and relocating your knight to e6, which is also a perfect square, just comparable with this knight e4. Maybe even better because your knight is invulnerable there. And if I take on g6, you can even take this way. I think, yeah, this is the right way to play it. So that now you have the f-file for your rook and square like f4 for your knight. So, quick reference, look at the game between Elohim and Rubinstein. One of their games. They played a lot, of course, but there was one in open variation of the Ruy Lopez, and there was similar pawn structure. Okay, great. So let's try to come back to normal in the next game. I don't know. It's really like, yeah, humiliating thing to play like this. d4, d5, c4, e6. So probably my opponent will start the game with a d4 move. Let's see. Crap. Nimso Indian and the classic line. All right. And e3 now. Instead of playing a3 or e4, just e3. Which is absolutely playable, of course. Let's try something aggressive. Let's take there. Just attack this pawn in the center. And quickly play stuff like d5, I guess. So d4 is under attack. I think knight f3 or knight e2, okay. Also okay. That's what I wanted to play. Just d5. Creating a threat of taking on c4 and either winning the pawn on d4 or just creating an isolated pawn. And if white now plays c5, I wanted to try e5 immediately. I think that's interesting. Alright, against this move, I just wanted to take with the queen, but maybe it's not the best idea. But why not? We have some play against an isolated pawn now. Which should be good. Normally, when there is an isolated queen pawn, the knight is on f3, then go into e5. In this position, it is on e2, so far away from e5 square, which is good. Because usually when the knight is on e5, there are some great attacking chances. But from here it can go to f4, which is also interesting. Should be taken into account. So what is this? Can I just take on g2 now? Rook g1, queen somewhere, castling long, supposedly, and there will be some threats. Maybe immediate bishop h6, but that really depends on where my queen goes after rook to g1. So what to do instead? It's really dangerous, I think, to take on g2. Something like e5 maybe still played. It's quite dangerous if white just castles, so I have to take on c3, knight c3, queen somewhere, something like immediate d5. Yeah, it looks terrible for black. So what to do then? We should somehow continue with the development, right? Yeah, so something like b6 and bishop b7 simply. Let's try it. Aha, castling here. Anyway. Or maybe. Maybe. I just wanted to go back here. Then bishop b7 next move. Bishop g5 was also interesting. Can we play it like this? Just ignoring g5. Wondering. It's probably crazy, but I don't know. I'm just playing very strange chess during the last 3 games, I would say. Correct. Just winning this h7. Can I survive it after that? Just wanted to, win some time on it. But probably I'm just, losing the game because of it. Crazy shit. What am I doing, huh? What's good? After queen to h4, there is no direct threat of a checkmate anyway. So rook goes away somewhere, and then if checked, then king simply runs away through g8, f8, and e7. So maybe we're doing fine here. Okay, but it's super dangerous, I know. So my plan is just to run away through e7. So like rook to c8, and then if checked, then king g8, king f8, king e7. And at the same time, we will create some threats on the queen side. We have some tricks there. So I don't think white can play something like queen h4. We'll then grab knight on e2 with check, having 2 extra pieces, and then just rook to c8, right? If I'm not completely blundering something, then it should be good for black. So now, to take that or not to take? That's a good question. Anyway, we need the rook on c8, so let's bring it there. Now, what's the right way to play it? Grab on c3. Yeah, I think so. Just damaging at least something in white's position. Yeah, super dangerous position for black, but we have some tricks against white's king as well, so I guess it's gonna work out somehow. So knight to a5, right? And knight to a5, attacking the rook on h1 and pawn on c3. So the bishop jumps somewhere, just king g8, and we have this f8 square, which is super important. So our king is not being checkmated there, at least not that easily. Okay. All right. Just running. Keep on running. Now what? D7 square is critical, so... Well, actually, everything is critical here now, but there is at least queen f6 check threat. At very, very least, yeah. Still very annoying position. Trying to get closer to opponent's king, so creating a threat of like queen a3 and then queen c3 maybe knight c4 followed by queen a3. So what I'm basically trying here is to create some checkmating threats as well. Otherwise, white is just attacking me for nothing, right? G6. Is it really that great? Let's just go there. So simple. Oh dear Lord, what am I doing? Bishop d5 now. I think this is my only chance. I do hope I'm not checkmated that easily. So c6 is still here. So there is no checkmate. That's fine. And a2 is hanging now. This is also quite good. Yeah, so I think we're doing well. Very sharp game. But it's gonna be over now, right? It's gonna be over now. Yeah, interesting game. So after king c6, I think we're doing great with black. Or maybe I'm missing something simple. Maybe something like... no, bishop b3 will not work. Because if just knight to b3 at least takes, and bishop e4 checkmates the king, right? So what to do here? Bishop c1, queen a2 checkmate, and if c4, then I wanted to take on c4. The idea of queen b2 checkmate, and if bishop to c1 now, then knight to d2 should deliver, right? If rook d2, then queen a2. If bishop d2, then just bishop a2, bishop b3, and the same as in the game. So this typical checkmate. Okay, interesting game. So far from, you know, the comeback I wanted to make. But at least quite entertaining, I think. Thanks for this experience. Okay, Terry is 007. Accept the game. Whew, yeah. You're making me sweat, guys. That's, yeah, nice. Challenging chess today. One more Nimto, right? And this time the Rubinstein system. The Rubinstein system. Rook e8, gradually preparing e5, and I don't think a3 is a good idea. So bishop d2 is the main line, as far as I remember. Now if I play e5, nice trick, d5, d5, knight e5 is possible, because if I take on e5, there is bishop h7. And white is going to play what? To play e4. So let's try this interesting line. I know that probably d6 was already not so good. And here, probably again, something like knight to e4 deserves serious attention, or maybe bishop e4. But still, I just want to play this system. So if white wants to play e4, it's possible to do. What I want to do against e4 is just to take here first, and then to play e5. So in this case, I undoubled white's pawns, which looks a bit strange, but I'm fighting for c5 square and weakened c4 pawn. So this was probably not very accurate because of bishop d2 in this particular case, but still, the idea I think is clear. That's the plan. Now we're just attacking this c4 pawn with all of our pieces. a4 is also our target. Okay, so let's just clarify the things here on the king side, because this pin is really annoying. All right, now let's just move another knight to this outpost, which was prepared by this cd4, cd4, e5 stuff. Okay, does it all make sense though? Queen g4. This threat is bishop takes h6, right? Let's just play this move, I guess. So bishop takes h6 is met, which means there are no serious threats for now. So let's just keep on rolling here on the queen side, where we have lots of different targets. All right, this is good. Now it doesn't control dark squares at all. Doesn't control properly, I mean. So what can we do? What is the right way to play it? g7 is under pressure, but yeah, let's just force the queen somewhere away so that there is no real threat to g7. I think now we can do what? Queen e7 looks just fine. Protecting the pawn on f7, which is hanging. Okay, one more defensive move. We're almost trapping the queen there. Almost. That's the key word. What we can do now. It's really close. It feels like it's close. To trapping it, but not quite. So queen h7, g5, right? And if we play g6, there's queen h6. Slightly annoying. Could have been a good idea. Otherwise. Yeah, it's not very pleasant right now, but I can't believe in white's attack anyway. Just have to find a good defense, which will clarify the things somehow. So I think we can play something simple like this. So I want to exchange queens here because I do believe the ending will be better for black, right? So there is no attack anymore without queens. If white plays g6 right now, then the position is closed. And we can just focus on the queen side, which is terrible for white. Yeah, I think this should do. Okay. Are there any threats? I don't see one, actually. Let's just attack a4. Yeah. 1 minute 23 seconds, so we should play a bit faster, right? Let's grab there. Also attacking the rook on f5. Yeah, it's lost. Should be lost for white. Extra pawn for now. Some threats like queen a3 or maybe b5 at some point. I'll probably bring my queen back home and then start converting my extra pawn on the queen side. Just to make sure that everything is under control. I don't want to miss a simple and stupid tactics at some point. Okay, I'll just grab that one. Just grabbing this one, right? Okay, so what is the threat here? I don't see anything serious, to be honest. Now let's just take it. Let's just take it and jump somewhere here. Which is a bit strange, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, I don't understand what I'm doing here. I'm probably creating unnecessary problems for myself. It was indeed very strange. I don't know why I played that. Okay, I won, but with a great luck. So at the end, I've just created, you know, some serious problems for myself. Yeah, this knight at g5 was probably the last trick here, and I should have reacted somehow properly. Just you know, fighting this single idea. Yeah, maybe something simple like, you know, rook to c8, and if knight g5, just ignoring that knight completely. Maybe something like this move, because if knight jumps to f7, there's king g8. So what? If knight h6, I just capture it, queen h6, there are no threats anyway, right? Yeah, strange play of black here. All right, guys, so let's play probably the last game, and we're going to play against Olaf. Going to play against Olaf, playing with black pieces. Really challenging stuff here. Yeah, I don't know why. But I started like okay, and then that game against 2800s guy where I was winning at some point and just lost some time probably. Made me feel really bad. I was really pitied to lose that game, to be honest. Let's try something like this. We anyway get back to something normal, right? a3, bishop a6. Kasparov Petrosian system. Very good one for white, I think. If white plays correctly. So the idea of this maneuver of bishop a6 is to bring the queen to c2 so that after c5, the queen doesn't control d5 square from d1. So now if d5, I just take it. Okay, so let me remember, that's what we usually play here. Just taking there. It's quite risky for black, but I like it anyway, somehow. I enjoy a slightly better pawn structure. And some targets like d4, f3 potentially. If white plays something like d5, my knight can jump to e5, attacking f3 and c4 simultaneously. So that's the plan. That's the idea. At some point, of course, I want to play d5 myself, but I just don't think I'm ready now. Let's prepare everything. So d5 is coming, but after queen d2, b3 is no longer controlled, so I can jump with the knight to a5, attacking c4. How white is going to protect it? So b3 is not possible to play, right? That's hard, actually, to protect c4 now. That's what I mean. That's why I play this knight a5. If there is something like c5, I can grab it with the pawn once, and after dc5, knight b3 jump first, attacking the queen, and then taking that pawn on c5. Not leaving d7. So queen is still there, around, I mean. Okay, now b5 attacks my queen, but what if just play this move? Bishop controls d6, so I think it's not a blunder. f3 is under attack now. I also want to play a6 next move, just bringing the knight back to c3. And c4 is still hanging, so I don't know, white's position should be not that pleasant. Just because white has some weakened spots and black is already attacking them. While black's weaknesses are not so obvious to me. Yeah, there is some problem with the d6 square, but honestly, it's just fine. All right, let's grab the pawn on c4 now with the tempo. Let's get rid of that knight. It's a 9. And enjoy the position with extra material, right? Yeah, I mean, it's a very good one. d5 probably. Just to close this diagonal for white's bishop. And my knight from c4 can go through d6 to f5 whenever white plays something like f4 with a great blockading stuff there. Looks good. Looks like a queen's gambit without the light squared bishop and super strange pawn structure for white here. Okay, that's what I was talking about. Just knight e6 control in f5. Everything is super logical in black's camp. And very harmonious, in my opinion. Bishop there, okay. f5 is still not a threat, so we can just castle. So now white probably wants to play f5. So should we react to that or not? It's a good question. Something like knight e4 is also looking good. Now let's just bring the knight there. If knight e4, d takes c4 is possible, then bring the queen to d5. That looks great. Looks great, honestly. And now we can take on c3, right? Why not? Winning one more pawn. And a3 doesn't look really healthy. Okay, so there are some tricks, of course. Should be careful. But should be manageable anyway. Should be manageable stuff. Let's just improve the position of the queen for now. G7 is potentially under pressure. How do we deal with this? Let's try to... First of all, let's check if there is a tactical shit like rook G7, king G7, rook to G1. I don't see anything there. But anyway, I just want to make sure I'm not blundering anything related to that theme, such as G6 first. Yeah, it weakens dark squares a bit, but I still have a dark squared bishop here, so I don't care. All right, now, just to C8, correct? That should be fine. So, bishop f8 simply. Yeah, something like this. Now queen to e6. Yes. Bring the queen to light squares now. Let's just simplify this stuff. I know I could have played for checkmate, but I don't need it really. Yeah, just a couple of extra pawns. Much better pawn structure. No problems to convert this advantage here. All right. Thanks a lot for being with me this time. Just as usual, next week we come back to normal schedule. So training Tuesday, Banter Blitz, and I think Banter should be played on Thursday, just as usual. So this week was an exception. Wish you all a great weekend. Hope you learned something from this episode. That's my primary goal, to teach you something during my games. Yeah, I hope you did and enjoyed the show. Bye-bye.